Yeah, I'm right back at you like I never left, and I'm gonna go this hard to my last breath. Salute Kenny Russell, Canoon, Consul Moon. You already know what you're gonna get when you step in the room. Down dealing with Canoon. I'm here. While I'm here, I'm gonna make the information direct and clear, because a lot of y'all can't hear. Now, welcome back to Make My Ancestors Great Again. This is My Thoughts 70, and I'm gonna do something real quick. It's just to put something on your mind. It's very thought provoking. It's to go back and let a person use his analytical mind and begin to analyze what's historical and what's literary. Because you have literary history, which is just literature. Somebody wrote it and they can put any date they want to put on it. You don't know what. And then you have actual um, literature that can, be used to say that this is historical. So you got literature and you have literary history. You got literature that's based on history that you can foundate what the literature says, and you can prove it with the historical facts by finds and things like that, and say, oh, this is historical. I remember when this happened. For instance, Rosa Parks. Okay, it's a time, date, event, people, different things occurred, and you have a timestamp. Same thing with literature based on history. George Washington did this. This is when he did it. These people, it affected these people. Then you have literary history. I um, almost said Andre the Giant, but Johnny and the Beanstalk, all this type of stuff. Little Red Riding Hood, Mother Hubbard, all that type of stuff. So literary history is just for literary literature only. It cannot be used as literature to foundate history. So it's different. It's different things you understand that you need to know. Okay, so today I just want to show you something and start peeling things back like an onion. Peel back a couple of layers and see what you analyze and what you get out of it. So today it's about a gentleman named Augustine of Hippo. He's supposed to be a bishop in the 4th and 5th century. Okay. But if you know history like I know, then there was no Christianity and all that in a historical manner at that time. So this person never existed. This is a name used in history that they write through. And the body of writing used to write Christian literature is called patristic handwriting. Patristic handwriting is attributed to what's known as the church fathers, okay, first, second, third, fourth century writers. But it's a body of literature called patristic handwriting. And they use these names to write through and they predate them, okay, and just say this has happened in the first century, second century. That's what's going on. So I want to introduce you to this gentleman, and I want to share something with you. And this stems from the Bible. Okay, right here it says the original. I don't know what happened there. Um, Let me load this up. Sorry about that. My StreamYard took a dive on me. Okay, it was right here. It says original sin. Now, in a person's mind, we was taught that original sin came from Adam and Eve, right? Okay, that's the way I was taught about it. So, because you get taught these things when you're a little boy or girl going into church. So, and theology and your different doctrines and ideologies, you taught this. That's what I was taught. Okay, so um, it says right here, original sin is the Christian doctrine, which says that because of the sin of Adam and Eve, original innocence is lost, and all subsequent human beings are born into a state of sinfulness. The doctrine states that human beings do not commit the sin, but rather contract it from the fall of Adam and Eve. Okay. That's very plain. Okay. That's what we were taught. Soon as you're born, because of Adam and Eve, you have a thing called original sin, correct? This is what they saying at the Bible uh, from the beginning of the world. People understand that the Bible is the first book in all the world. They believe this, okay? If you want to know how the world started, you look at the Bible. You want to know the first man? His name was Adam. You want to know the first lady? Eve. You want to know how they got here? God created them. This is how we were taught. This is how the story goes now. And that's from Genesis. Okay, but see, that's not true. Original sin doctrine was created by the gentleman I was telling you about earlier, St. Augustine. He comes from out of the 4th and 5th century. And they name him bishop, but it was no bishops at the time. Again, this is patristic handwriting, a body of literature used to write through, and they call it church fathers. Okay, and they tell you all this stuff they were doing, which isn't true. So now let me show you who originated that doctrine called original sin. He said that you had so much lust in your body from sex and all these things that Adam and Eve did, that it left a little bit of that in every human being thus far, going forward. That means me, everybody. And it has concupiscence. That's the term he derived and made up. Concupiscence mean you have so much lust and horniness, and you want to make love to everybody so much. That's left behind in every little baby. Now you can get a baptism and it'll wash off your sin, but it never take away from concupiscence. It can't take that away. Every human being is going to have that lust, that horniness, and he wants to have so much sex because of Adam and Eve. This is how the story goes now. So let me show you the gentleman who's responsible for this original sin doctrine. See, because we all thought it was original from Genesis, but that's not true. This gentleman named Augustine, I'm sorry, from the 4th and 5th century predates the Bible. Start thinking about this. 4th and 5th century, it was no Bibles nowhere. Okay. Now, if it was, then Augustine, we shouldn't even be speaking about him. Okay, because the Bibles was out, and that means original sin was intact. How can a guy come 400 or 500 years later and make up a doctrine called original sin, and it beats the one in Genesis? What am I saying? Okay, just follow me. This gentleman was born in the 3rd and 4th and 5th century, according to the dates. The Bible is said to be out in BC time. This man was born in AD. He's the author of original doctrine, but it's been attributed to Adam and Eve, the first people on the planet. Something's wrong with that. If the Bible was out, there's no need to talk about Augustine. But since Augustine is in the 4th and 5th century, and he's the one that's the author of original sin, how did it get in the Bible? Start thinking. The Bible, in your mind, in my mind too, if you don't do any research, it's way older than the 5th century, correct? But that's not true. The first Bible to ever be printed was in 1475 AD. Now, they had written literature, but I'm talking about the first printed Bible. That's how this original sin, Augustine, was able to be injected into those Bibles, because he predated the Bible, even though his time of being on the planet is well after the Bible creation and all that stuff. Thousands of years. Adam and Eve will predate him by thousands of years, but he's the author of what Adam and Eve is going to do later. Original sin. A gentleman out of the 5th century, 4th and 5th century. There's something wrong with that if you know chronology. Okay, so chronologically, that's incorrect. All they did was write something down, predate it, and put it in the Bible, and tell you that the Bible is very old. See, this is why I want to share this stuff with you guys. Okay. This is the original guy, Augustine of Hippo, or Bishop of a Hippo. His name is Augustine. That's him. That's a photograph of him. Okay. Oh, this is some information on it now, right here. The original sin, and this is from the Encyclopedia Britannica, World History Encyclopedia. I'm sorry. Let me get it on my end. This is from the World uh, History Encyclopedia. So if the Bible was so old, why is this gentleman responsible for the acts that Adam and Eve did? They predate him by thousands of years, but yet he's responsible for original sin. The whole doctrine. You couldn't get none of this Adam and Eve stuff having original sin without this person. But this happened in Genesis, the first book, which is supposed to be thousands of years old. See how they fix your mind up. See, that's why I said the Bible is a book that one has to believe in. If you don't believe in it, it's not real. So this is the original sin. You can read about it. I don't want to go into it too far, but prolong this video. So this is the original sin doctrine. You can look it up. This gentleman name is Augustine of Hippo, our Bishop Augustine. He's said to be the greatest writer in Christian literature. And they saying that for a reason. He created original sin doctrine. He created several different doctrines that they still live by today. And they went to the Council of Trent and all these type of things to try to correct it, and it still stands today. So my point was to let you use your analytical mind and say, if original sin was original like I said it is, the Bible was hundreds of thousands of years old in a person's mind. Why is a guy from the 4th and 5th century named Bishop Augustine of Hippo, why is he attributed and credited with creating the doctrine called original sin? But again, hold on, that ain't the kicker. The kicker is, how did a 4th and 5th century so-called writer, he never existed, how did his 5th century doctrine, original sin, get put in all the Bibles that we have in our hands today? See, because the King James don't come out to the 1611 AD. But it got Genesis in it. Start thinking. Genesis is said to be the first thing that ever hit the world. This is when everything was created. The star, the moon, everything. You got a problem there. See, that's what I'm telling you to do. It's very thought-provoking. You can come up with some rationale for it. That's my thoughts on the video. It's Little Kenny Russell, Kanoon, Consort Moon. You already know what you're going to get when you step in the room. You're now dealing with Kanoon. This is what I do, and I love to do it. Before I take back what I said, I add some more to it. This was not to try to take the Bible, take God, take anything out of your hands. This is for you to do some research, some analytical thinking, some backdating, some chronological placement, and start placing things in order of its chronology. If one predates the other, how can this be possible? Things of that nature. That's what I'm here for. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. Sorry about the interruption.